Yeah, and also about this experience, Expointer. What are the news from Canada after your trip?
As you probably know, Canada was country of honor this year at Expointer, so there is quite a number of Canadian companies from science and technology through agriculture are here during the fair and in the area here as Rio Grande do Sul is a great part of Brazil in terms of developing not just with agriculture but manufacturing and many things that are done in this part of the country. So Canadians are making contact with people here and developing lines of business here. This show is a great venue to do those sorts of things. Again, Brazilians welcome us Canadians very much here, and we appreciate that. This fair is a mix of all aspects of agriculture, which is very good for us. We have manufacturers that have come, like MacDon, that producing products that are now being used here in newer forms of grain production. For example, we're in the soybeans and working in canola and stuff like that. So there's, I think Canadians are taking away that there is many opportunities here to do business with Brazilians, to do good business. It's I think, like any market, it has its challenges to learn how things are done in your country and what the procedures are. And there is always government regulations that are part of business anywhere in the world. And so we're learning about that. But
we also have to learn a lot about you guys. This is what I would like you to talk a little bit about. We've been talking before about this hedge and the production of that. Which is, for us, is quite important, and for the Brazilian producers, is actually completely new. So.
Right. We may have in Canada advanced in a different way than Brazilian producers, where there is more cattle being fed in feedlots and that now in Brazil. That's been a very common style of business for a long time in Canada. So part and parcel with our higher costs, we have learned that we need to get insurance or protection, however we can achieve that. And as you know, Joseph, the futures markets offer protection in terms of knowing what the future will bring in a price. That is a protection for the buyer and the seller. So it's become a part of doing business now for almost all of the large feedlot operators do take hedge positions. For us, it is a bit complicated in that we work from the Chicago Live Cattle Board. So to do a hedge or to take options to do a hedge, we need to recognize and take a hedge against the live cattle. But secondly, the currency, because everything we do is a large export play, so the dollar exchange is a very big thing for us.
Dealing with two different things.
Right. And then also, because of the costs we create in finishing an animal, our animals finish at approximately 12 to 14 months. So much faster than Brazil, but at a higher cost. So we will have very expensive grain costs to finish animals, specifically a barley cost. So the third dimension of taking a true hedge for a pen of cattle will be, first again, the live cattle, secondly the dollar, thirdly the grain, which we will do either as barley or perhaps go back to Chicago and do that as corn and translate that to a barley value. So
it's a process.
It is. So as your producers here would do like we do, you need to know what your cost is before you can tell if you're making money or losing money. And if nothing else, knowing when the break even is there. So
for us, it's very important your experience because, as I told you before, here in Brazil, the people, the producer doesn't not have this culture about it, this protection, the hedge. So how many people do that in Canada?
We do what we call retained ownership, where a cow-calf producer keeps his calves all the way to finishing, is a small percentage of what happens. A large percentage is the cow-calf producer sells those animals somewhere in the system, and then a feedlot finishes them. So the feedlots do most of the finishing. They have big lots, high cost, and probably 90% of those operators do a hedge process of varying degrees. They are always cognizant of where our dollar is relative to the U.S. dollar, and they are constantly protecting themselves with the dollar all the time. And some have varying opinions, but are always looking for a way to find a good strike price, if you will, on the hedge for the cattle as well.
Actually, it's amazing, this number for us. We have to learn a lot about it. Brazil actually have done less than half percent. So you are talking about 90%. So this, yes, this
now,
is what we have to.
You have, because you have a large domestic market, you don't have the same effects. Some of your market, and more arguably your grain producers like your soy, would be large export. So they would need to consider price protection and currency protection. Where you have two avenues to work with in your live cattle or meat hedging, where you can trade on your board and do just the meat and not have to worry about exchange. Or you can also look at Chicago board, but then you need to protect yourself against the U.S. dollar. But you have those two options, which is a great thing for your producers. As a producer, you need to know the line where break-even is. So the services you offer are two different ways to do the same thing. If the market has moved up and you would like to secure that value, you offer options that can lock that price for a minimal cost. The other thing that you can do, and this is not always fun, but a producer needs to recognize this reality. He is right on the line of break even, but all indications are going forward, the market is going south. So he sometimes needs to buy protection to stop the loss. So that's not a profitable thing, but losing less money is a better option.
Yes, as we talked before, it's not to make money, it's not the point. It's just to protect at least what...
Stop a loss or secure a profit that is there. So once your producer has done that in terms of finding a price in the future that is profitable for him, now he has time in the market to take time and sell when he wants to sell, not when he thinks the market is right and has to jump to the market.
And jump there and he doesn't know nothing about it.
Right, so it takes a pressure away from him by having an insurance
Think about
option.
it and
That's right.
Oh, this is great. This is exactly what...
So it's maybe not easy to understand the first time, but people need to look at this as a form of insurance that you're paying a premium for that insurance. So that is on options. That is all the money that is at risk. So you know your cost for that insurance. And like your house burning down, you hope it does not happen. So you hope you don't actually need the insurance.
To use this.
You hope the market will struggle.
And the price worth it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, great. Thank
So,
you. Yeah. think it's
It appears that you and the people you have here have very good understanding and very good display of how to relate that to producers and how it would work for their individual.
It has been very difficult to work with our product, this hedge, and actually, yes, the producer here still does, they don't have this idea as you. But okay, this is one thing what we have to learn from Canada.
Well, all our large producers do it. Not all of our small producers do, and they should.
They should.
The risks are the same. It's simply the difference that the big players see a bigger dollar risk, so they know they must deal with it. Smaller producers perhaps do not want to recognize the risk. But it's potentially a bigger risk to a small producer than a larger.
Than the large, yeah,
so
obviously.
There's, you have various sizes of contracts and positions that you can take. Any producer can find the level that gives him the comfort and insurance that he needs to secure. So, and again, in a poor market, he needs to follow the markets and consider options. And in a very buoyant, strong market, he very much needs to ensure those profits going forward to ride out the bad years.
Yeah, actually now it's my job here in Expointer, so my company tried to do, and it's quite hard job. But we believe, as we were talking before, it's like a car insurance. So it's like at least you, we hope don't use number, you know, but yes, it's for us here the number what you said, 90% of the producers, they do have that. It's amazing for Brazilian producer.
Well, it's big business and consequently big risk.
Yes, yes. So we have to work on it.
Everything you can do to mitigate risk is a very something you have to consider doing.
Right, yeah. Great.